Welcome inside TCO Studios for Pick 6 presented by KFAN. I'm Tatum Everett, and this is the show where we answer your fan questions. We've got experts and players, including Harrison Smith and TJ Hawkinson. But first, Dalton Reisner answers the first question. It's from Russell. For any of the coaches and players, what was the key to preparing for the Packers? The team appeared to have a laser-like focus for this game. Dalton?
I think one of the things that we've done all year is we've just taken it 1-0. We can think about what's ahead of us. We can think about playoffs. We can think about the NFC North, or we can just take it one game at a time. We can focus on the Packers, and that's all we can focus on. It's the same thing we're doing this week. We're focusing on the Detroit Lions, and that's all we're worried about is going 1-0.
The offensive line performed so well that it allowed Sam Darnold to throw for a season high in passing yards. Moving on to question number 2, it is about the defense, and we found former player and coach turned Vikings radio analyst Pete Bercich to answer this one. It's from Clayton. What could the Vikings do on defense to eliminate those close games in the fourth quarter? Take it away, Pete.
Clayton, thank you for your question. And when I get really good questions like this, I like to go out and talk to the mountains and see what they have to say. The thing about it is this. Overall, on a yards basis, your defense is somewhere around the middle of the field. Good against the run, giving up yards against the pass, but again, not bad on a per-play basis. So that's the thing you got to look at. Oh, you figure you're 4th in the league on 3rd down, number 1 in the league on 4th down, 4th in the league in red zone. So situationally, doing a good job. Sack rate is right up at the top. Interception rate, very, very good. It's very, very tough to figure out what can the defense do to get the stop when they need it. And unfortunately, it's really a team game. I don't know how much more we could get out of our defense. But I will say this, playing Detroit soon, the thing you got to do against the Lions is tackle. Just measure. Our success against these Detroit Lions will be measured in yards after contact. If any of the Lions catch a pass and we tackle them within a yard or two, we will be successful. To help us avoid these super close games, we just got to tackle a little bit better. Not that it's bad now, but that's going to be key the next couple of weeks.
Wow, Pete, the weather there looks really nice. It's making me pretty jealous right about now. However, I have confirmed with Pete he will be in the KFAN booth on Sunday when the Vikings take on the Lions. So we look forward to hearing the call in just a few days. Moving on to the next question, it's also from Clayton, because on this show, if you submit questions, we'll air them, even if you send us 2, 3, 4, who knows? So up next, it's Clayton. Why does this team feel different than the 2022 season? Viking analyst Ron Johnson answers this one.
Well, Clayton, great question. This team feels different from the 2022 season for a few reasons. One, when you talk about the expected wins over what they actually did and the way they won, I think it was like 11 games won within like a 1-score thing, which was like an NFL record. They're not winning that way anymore. It feels like the games now they're being won by the team, and it's not like they're lucking up and winning. But the biggest change, Clayton, is, let's be real, Brian Flores' defense has the pieces he needs. You got rid of Danielle Hunter, you get rid of DJ Wanham, you add Andrew Van Ginkel, and you add Jonathan Kennard. The biggest key to that is being able to drop your DNs, outside linebackers, into coverage. He could not do that before. The offense is pretty much the same. They're without Christian Darrisaw right now and Kirk Cousins, but they did add Sam Darnold. And I think Sam Darnold is doing a great job when you look at what Kevin O'Connell has done. But honestly, it's the defense. I've always said that if the defense can stay in the top half of the NFL with a top 5 offense, you should be able to make it to the playoffs and win some playoff games. And that's what they have right now, is a defense that actually is stopping the run. They're getting off the field on 3rd downs, and they're creating turnovers. And that's the other side of that. When you have DNs that could not drop into coverage, it's a little bit easier to figure out who you're going to block. It's hard to figure out who they're going to block now because Andrew Van Ginkel can be a drop linebacker. He can also be a rush in. And for an offensive tackle, an offensive guard to that side, that's extremely tough to figure out if he's coming or if one of the other 3 guys lined up on your side are coming. Whereas before with DJ Wanham or Danielle Hunter, for sure, you knew Danielle Hunter was going to rush. You knew he wasn't going to drop into a middle third or a drop back. Same with Dallas Turner. You add him in there, so now you have 3 true outside linebacker rush ins. And that's the biggest change. I mean, Blake Cashman comes in, Ivan Pace is a year older, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the way Brian Flores' 3-4 defense needs to look.
Now, that 2022 season, the Vikings clinched the NFC North title. It was the first year under general manager Kwesi and head coach Kevin O'Connell. And now this 2024 team gets a chance to clinch the NFC North title again in only the third year of their regime. Moving on to the next question, Raymond wants to ask KOC, Kwesi, and the entire staff have built an amazing culture. What feels different about this team? We found TJ Hawkinson to best answer this one.
Raymond, I appreciate the question. What feels different about this team is that everyone's friends, everyone's hanging outside of the locker room. We're all buddies, you know, there's a lot of fun that happens in this building and a lot of fun that happens in this locker room. So that's what I would say is a lot different. It's a 17-game season. It can get long, but, you know, we do our best and we have fun with it, so it's great.
I know I'm excited to see TJ play on Sunday because last time the Vikings and Lions played each other, he wasn't back from injury yet. Moving on to question number 5. It's from Graham. How do you stay level-headed and focused when we're having such an iconic and historic season? Veteran safety Harrison Smith takes this one.
Preparing for big games it's very similar to preparing for all games. They're all big in the NFL, but they're obviously bigger and bigger as the season gets longer and longer. You just kind of turn it up another notch as far as preparation goes. Being mentally aware of what it's going to feel like, the energy in the building. I like to think about like white uniforms. They're wearing what we're wearing. Like envision being there and going through the process of the game before it happens. And there's always going to be things that come up that you can't completely prepare for, but you can give it your best shot in the moment that gives you kind of peace to execute as high as you can.
You can find that entire conversation with Hitman on Vikings.com, where he even tells me Sunday is not just another game. Let's get to our final question here at Pick 6. It's a fun one from King Squeaks III. What 3 celebrations do you want the Vikings to do next? Okay, King Squeaks, I figured I would take this one because I'm just so excited about the generational run that we've been seeing. Number 3, I want to see the Little Miss Sunshine talent from her pageant. Iconic. Number 2, Napoleon Dynamite, one of my favorite movies growing up, and I want to see the Napoleon Dynamite solo, Cam. And then number 1, which I think is so appropriate since it was just New Year's, the Ross and Monica New Year's Eve dance from the show Friends. What better week to do it in what better fashion than this massive matchup between the Vikings and Lions? That'll be it for this episode of Pick 6. We'll have more coming your way as the Vikings continue through the postseason.